Hello everyone, I'm NiniFC and this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm bringing you guys another Predict That 11 video for our upcoming game against Arsenal in the second leg of the Carabao Cup this Wednesday evening. And for the second time coming, I'm going to be changing today's format for today's Predicted 11 video. This is one of the hardest Predicted 11 videos I've made because there's so many possibilities Conte could choose from when it comes to the first 11. Now I've broken down the team Conte could choose from into 3 parts. Number 1 is going to be focused on the safe approach. Number 2 will be focused on the brave approach. And number 3 will be the wild card approach. Just a quick reminder before I get into the video, please, if you haven't pressed the bell notification button, please press that and stay notified to all things Blue Lions TV. And you guys, for today's video, please help me get to 500 likes. Now starting with number 1, the safe approach. But what do I mean when I say safe approach? Well, the safe approach is the customary lineup that Conte religiously uses anytime we play any big team. You guys already know what formation I'm talking about. It's the 3-5-2, or more accurately the 3-5-1-1. If Conte decided to use the setup, I see him using either Courtois, and I say either Courtois because we're not quite too sure yet if he's going to be fit on time. If not, Caballero will start. In the back 3, I see Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger playing on the left hand sides. For the wing back positions, I see Moses playing on the right and Alonso on the left hand sides. And in midfield, I see Bakayoko on the right hand side, Kante in the middle sitting deeper, and Fabregas on the left. But in regards to Fabregas, he is injured at this moment in time. We're not quite too sure if he's going to be fit on time. And if he isn't going to play, then I see Drinkwater playing instead. And up front is Eden Hazard behind Alvaro Morata. This has become the typical way that we play against big teams and in big games. Hazard has been told to drop deeper these days to play behind Morata instead of playing beside Morata. Now the reason why Conte does drop Hazard deeper is because he wants Hazard to have more time and space on the ball. He wants him to be the guy that links up the midfield and the attack, and he's hoping that if Hazard drops deeper, he has the ability to run past a player or two and start helping with counter-attacks. Theoretically, this is supposed to help Morata because then he has the time to run into space created by Eden Hazard. But the problem now is that they're now isolated when they do play in this system, and that's because they're getting outmanned. A lot of teams are dropping 3 or 4 players behind them to really help combat Hazard and Morata, and it makes it harder because each time Morata and Hazard are collecting the ball in central areas, so it makes it easier for teams to close them down. And as I keep explaining, the way this team works is that we do play those direct balls to the front two. They're supposed to keep hold of the ball, so other support players like the wing backs and the box-to-box midfielder are supposed to help support them in the attack. But the issue is we lose possession way too much on the attack, and this is how teams have the confidence to start pressing high. And by pressing high, they stop our wing backs supporting the play, and in turn the midfield can't really leave their lines, otherwise they'll be exposed at the back. And because a lot of teams are much more comfortable pressing us high with a man marking pressing style, we're really struggling to play out from the back when we do use the system. Moving on to number 2, and that's the brave approach. Now one critique of Conte is his record in knockout round style of football. The last 2 cups he won was the Supercoppa back in 2012 and 2013 with Juventus. They beat Napoli and Lazio respectively. The Supercoppa is effectively the same as the Community Shields. Now the reason for why Conte doesn't do so well in knockout round football is because the style and approach to these games is too conservative. There aren't enough chances created, and the performances become defensive because a lot of players can't really break their lines because they're getting closed in, because a man-marking pressing system really does affect Conte teams. Now if Conte used the brave approach, we would use a 3-4-3 against Arsenal. In the team it would be either Courtois or Caballero, depending if Courtois is fit enough. In the back 3 it would be Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger. The wing backs would be the same with Moses and Alonso. In midfield, I think he'd go for Kante and Fabregas, but again, if Fabregas isn't going to be fit enough, Drinkwater would be the viable option, and up front, a front 3 of Willian, Morata and Hazard. Now this formation could be the best route to go down because that provides us with a lot of attacking support, especially because the likes of Hazard and Morata are normally starved of that. A 3-4-3 would really help us for the battle of the flanks. Against Arsenal, that's an area we constantly lose them because Arsenal do press aggressively in those wide areas. Another reason why Arsenal do so well on the flanks is because of the positioning of the front 3. the front three like to position themselves between the space between the wing back and the wide centre back. That's to draw the wing back in. Once that happens, the overlapping run of a Bellerin or a Kolasinac overlaps and creates those overloads, and Arsenal have had a lot of success breaking us down that way. By having a 3-4-3, however, that should give some attacking support for our wing backs so they're able to actually have support around them to play through that press. And another key reason for why the 3-4-3 could be the best formation is actually the space between the lines that Arsenal usually have. That's that space between the defence and the midfield. Now with the 3-4-3, you guys watch the Brighton game, you were really causing havoc because that 3-4-3 were playing in those lines, and due to their quick interchange of passing, due to players dropping deeper and moving into space, due to that fluidity, you cause a lot of problems. Now for number 3, that's the wildcard approach, and I'm going to break that into part A and part B. Now what is the wildcard approach? Now for me, the wildcard approach is a combination of the safe approach and the brave approach. Conte may decide to stick with a 3-5-2, but a change in personnel in midfield could be the solution. Part A, that could be Ross Barkley. Maybe this is the game that Barkley will make his debut in. He didn't play against Brighton, Fabregas is still 50-50 and isn't fully fit just yet, and maybe Conte did rest him to use him particularly in this game. Now a team with Barkley would be the goalkeeper, either Courtois or Caballero, a back three of Aspi, Christensen, Rudiger, the wing backs of Moses and Alonso, and a midfield would be Barkley on the right hand side, Kante in the middle and Bakayoko on the left, with Eden Hazard dropping behind Alvaro Morata. Now Bakayoko would move to the left and Barkley would move to the right because he would be able to break those midfield lines to really help support Hazard and Morata, effectively creating a 3-4-3 from a counter-attacking. Also Barkley does have that recovery pace, he can cover a lot of ground quickly, he can run with the ball as well, and he can move into space, and he's got a decent goal threat as well. Now moving on to option B, and that's Willian. Now Conte actually used Willian in this midfield role. He used him against Leicester City as a substitute appearance, and a lot of you guys have watched my video, so you've really heard me already talk about potentially using Willian as a guy in a 3-man midfield. The point I made beforehand was in regards to Claude Puel and Mahrez. Mahrez has been used in midfield at times, and that's really helped elevate his performances. He was probably the player of the month in my opinion, and really it made a massive difference. I think Willian could be that box-to-box guy in midfield because Willian is more effective playing on the left and centrally, and Willian can cover big distances in a short amount of time. We know how effective he is on the counter. When he breaks the lines, he runs into those spaces. Using him in this role could really be beneficial for the counter attack. Just a few examples are his goal against Man City, his goal against United, and recently against Brighton. Creative players in general in the Premier League are collecting the ball from much deeper these days. They have more space to play in, they have more time to make efficient use of the ball, and I really think this extra space and playing more central will really suit Willian. Recently in the Premier League, over the past 2 years, we're seeing players becoming rejuvenated due to how managers are using them innovatively. It can be argued as well that Conte did something similar in regards to Azpilicueta and Victor Moses. As I said earlier, Conte experimented with using Willian in this role against Leicester City as a substitute appearance, and I think now is the right time to fully utilise Willian right from the start. Now, this is the lineup I would pick against Arsenal. I've been thinking between using a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, but in the end I've gone for a 3-4-3 formation. Now the goalkeeper will be between Courtois or Caballero depending on if Courtois is fit. Now in defence I've gone for something different. On the right hand side I've gone for Christensen, in the middle I've gone for David Luiz, and on the left hand side I've gone for Azpilicueta. Now we actually saw this back three against Norwich City in the replay in extra time, and I think the beauty of having Azpilicueta on the left hand side is that he can really help Marcos Alonso. Now in the game against Brighton, Marcos Alonso had no recovery pace and he wasn't getting tight enough to stop crosses. Now with Azpilicueta there, he's very comfortable pushing out wide to help defensively, and I think that with Marcos Alonso having that defensive support behind him, especially when he's going to be facing Bellerin, and Bellerin's always tearing into Alonso anytime we play against Arsenal, I think that Azpilicueta could be vital, and I think with Christensen on the right hand side, he can really push into midfield and he can provide some better use of the ball. For the wing backs I've gone for Alonso and Moses, and in midfield I've gone for Kante and Drinkwater. I would have gone for Cesc, but I don't think Cesc will be fit enough in this game. And up front it's Willian, Hazard and Morata. But anyway you guys, I hope you enjoyed the change to this Predict That 11 video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and if you haven't pressed the bell notification button, please press that and stay notified to all things Blue Lions TV. And you guys, as I said at the start of this video, please help me get 500 likes in this video. Anyway you guys, I'm NiniFC, this is Blue Lions TV, signing out.